You tuned in to the Iceman Show, the Iceman Unchained. I'm your host, the Iceman. Go by AskTheIceman.com to subscribe to my weekly podcast, the Iceman Show, the Iceman Unchained. To go to AskTheIceman.com for details. Also, if you haven't gotten a copy of my hot book, it's hot fire, y'all. The Game of Life, according to the Iceman Volume 1. Get my new book. You get it either in ebook form or you can get it in paperback format. If you want to get a autographed signed copy of The Game of Life, according to the Iceman Volume 1, you can go to AskTheIceman.com, scroll down to, I think it's the add to cart button, the PayPal add to cart button. Click on that and it'll have all the taxes and the shipping and all that set up for you already. All you got to do is pay the money. And then what I'll do, once I get the email notification, I'll go ahead and send your book. Everybody that bought the book at AskTheIceman.com directly from me, the autographed copy of the paperback format, you should be getting your books either midweek or by the end of this week. I talked to the post office, and because I mailed a bunch of them out on Saturday, and they said that it shouldn't take no more about 3 or 4 days, and it shouldn't take no more about 3 or 4 days, but do consider the weather if there's storms and stuff going on, depending on where you live throughout the country, especially those of you who are either on the West Coast or you're on the East Coast or West Coast. Depending on that, there's some storms. Yeah, you might have to deal with some weather issues, but I guarantee it won't be. Your book won't be delayed more than about, I'd say, a couple of days, if that. So, but I tell guys, look, be patient. Allow 2 to 3 weeks, but on the extreme side, but people are getting their books within a week. So just want to let you guys know that, because I know a couple guys sent me an email saying, is it actually going to take 2 to 3 weeks to get the book? Actually not, because I got an email from somebody I sent a book to 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they said, man, I got my book in 2 days. When you sent it directly to me, I got it in 2 days. So I'm like, but I just say that because I just want to make sure you know that I'm taking care of business, and that I want to make sure I take care of you. You're spending your hard-earned money to buy my book. The least I can do is make sure you get a copy of the book, and get what you pay for. You want an autographed copy of my book? Well, damn it, that's what you're going to get. So go to AskTheIceman.com for details on that. Also, check out my advertising packages, my business plan packages. For those of you who want to start a business, we offer consulting, business plans, advertising, and the like. So go to AskTheIceman.com for information on that. You tune into the Iceman Unchained, aka Mr. Crunkadelic, aka Ice Cold, aka Uncle Willie. One for the trouble, 2 to the base, 3 to get ready. Put my nuts on your face. Let me keep it professional, ladies and gentlemen. I promised that I would keep the nastiness to bare minimum. I wanted to holler at the ladies. I wanted to holler at the sisters. I get emails every now and then. Some of the sisters say, "Yo, Ice, when you gonna make some videos, giving sisters some advice on dating and the like? We do, look up to you, but you're so intimidating that you know we a lot of times, a lot of we ladies are scared to reach out to you." Well, I don't want ladies, sisters. Look, man. Let me tell you something. I love black women. Uh, I want to see black women succeed. There's nothing more beautiful than black women. But we as black men and women we got a lot of work to do. And I know and the reason why sometimes, ladies, I kind of pull up on y'all and I don't necessarily reach out to you is because sometimes I get the impression that a lot of times you guys don't really get the message. You get angered by what I say, but you're not motivated by what I say. And it may be the way I say it, but at the same time, I mean well. I'm not trying to be nasty to anybody, but sometimes I get frustrated with sisters because I feel like sometimes y'all just don't get it that we all got to do better. Not just black men, we all got to do better. Okay? And it starts with people like me. So I wanted to put a video out here so that you guys can know that the Iceman wants you to do well, and I want you to be successful. And this is not just about getting on sisters' cases about a lot of the shit that's jumped off and transpired with black women in the recent 5 to 6 years. But we have to be honest about some of the things that are going on with black women, and some of it's going to cut cut deep. But know that I love you, and I'm speaking from a position of love, from love. This is coming from a good place, and I want you to be successful. So let's get this thing cracking. So this is 5 tips. This is 5 things. If you're a single mom, even if you're not a single mom, single moms, 5 things you could do to improve dating for you starting this summer. I know I got a lot of cousins. I got a lot of female cousins on both sides of my family, and they always talk about Ice, hey, cuz, what's going on with the dating situation. And sometimes we get together and when we can and we talk about dating. And one of the things that a lot of my cousins complain about is the results that they feel like they're getting, whether they doing online dating or they trying to go to bars or go to functions. And I'm just going to break down 5 tips. I probably should make more, but I'm just going to do 5 tips because I really want this stuff to sink in, and I want you guys to get something out of this rather than put a bunch of stuff on here. Oh, God. You chew this. Oh, shit. Luckily. Oh, my God. I'm going to beat your ass. Sorry about that, players and playettes. So 5 tips, dating tips for the single moms. Number 1, where are you in your life? The reason this is something that I cover in the first chapter in my new book, The Game of Life, according to the Iceman, Volume 1. I get deep into the mental health issue, and I break down, mental health in layman's terms as to what a person needs to get done in order to be a value and an asset. Ladies, the one thing you're trying to convey, don't let these white feminists fool you, sisters, into believing that having certain feminine qualities or meeting a man halfway as far as some of the things he's looking for in a feminine, sexually available woman. Don't let these feminists talk you into not having no man. Because just like I told my cousins, it's not all about the man. If you're having problems dating, 90% of it is your fault and 10% of it is the man's fault or the men's fault. But let's just say in order for some work to be done, let's just say 100% of it is your fault. You have to understand, when I turned my life around from getting off the street, being homeless, and having all these health problems and mental health issues, it wasn't easy. I had to make a decision. I had to sit there at the library, because I used to go to the library every day, so I can have something to do. Plus, I wanted to get out of that heat. So I would go to the library every day so I could use the computer, so I could look for a job or find, resources so I can get my shit together. And the one thing I figured out is that when I finally decided I didn't want to be I didn't want to be homeless. I'm not saying that I just sat there and just decided that I wasn't going to be homeless anymore and that was that. But I think what it did is it set me on the road to being successful, or should I say, fixing my life. It put me on track, and it set me in a direction where I was on my way to fixing my life. Let's just put it that way. My life was put in a position where all I had to do was keep moving forward and putting one foot in front of the other. So basically, ladies, what you got to do is you got to clean your closet. You got to be willing to look in the mirror and say, okay, if I'm having problems dating, is it because I'm too much of a liability? Is it because I got a bunch of kids? Is it because I don't make that much money? Is it because of my attitude? Is it the abrasive attitude that I have, that I'm conveying to these men? What you have to understand, this is for the guys and the ladies. Dating is about humans transfer energy. And I talk about this in Volume 2, in The Game of Life, according to the Iceman, Volume 2. It's about the exchange of energy. So it's just, how when you come in your house or you walk in a room and you can feel the energy that a person or people are already in the room. Well, that's what you call it. I think it's called metaphysical energy. That's your spirit. See, you have to understand something. Melanated people, black people especially, we are very spiritual. I'm not talking about religion, people. I'm talking about spirituality. We are very connected. Some of us, and not all of us, but some of us are very connected to our spirituality. So we can feel things. We can feel things.
You're going to right? You don't have to, you're not afraid of none of them?
Okay? So that metaphysical energy, that's your spirit. When you send energy out, and then how you know somebody else is in the room without seeing them is they send energy out, they send energy back to you. And once you connect with that energy, you that tells your brain that somebody else is in this room even if I can't see them. Okay? That's why if you get ready to go in your house and say some burglars hiding in your damn house, and you get ready to open the door and you get the sense that somebody's already in there, not that you see somebody or hear somebody, but you can feel it. I can feel it. 'Cause I'm going deep cover, yeah, and you don't stop. 'Cause it's 187 on the cover car. But you can feel that energy. And that's what determines that there's somebody in that room that you're getting ready to enter. And once you get that gut feeling, obviously if we're talking about you entering your residence or going into your office and nobody's supposed to be in there, then you don't go in there because your gut is telling you don't go in there. Hey, something's not right. Somebody's in here. Nobody's supposed to be in here. But you got to get this is what we mean by cleaning your closet. You have to get your mind and your heart right, ladies, and church ain't going to get it done. Church is not going to do it. Church is not going to help you find a man. You have to go find your own man. God is not a matchmaker. He's a facilitator. He puts you in a position where you can be successful at whatever it is you're trying to do. Church is not designed to provide you with a man. It's not designed to provide you with the resources to get a man. That should be within that you should already have that. And if you're not a feminist, you should be able to have these skills already. We, especially us black people, we have to look at where we are at in life. We have to look at where we are at with how we feel about ourselves and how all of this plays out. If you're not totally comfortable with that, then you have to understand that the changes need to be made. Because I've had some sisters send me emails and ask me questions about tips on how to date, and some of them will say, well, I think it's because I got 2 kids by 2 different men. That's why these men keep running out, because they don't want to have all this responsibility. No, it's how you present it. A man will date a woman with 4 kids by 4 different men. But if you're trying to get a quality man, it's how you present your liabilities. And I'm going to talk about that, I believe, in number 3. I'm going to get into that in a minute. But just having kids is not a total disqualifier, ladies. You don't get totally disqualified because you got kids or a kid. You get disqualified by how you present yourself and all the baggage that comes along with you. And then if you're standing up there being passive aggressive or giving men ultimatums and this or else shit, then yeah, you're gonna have problems meeting men. You're gonna have problems You're not gonna have problems meeting men if you're decent looking. But if you're having problems keeping men, and holding out on the ass ain't gonna fix this problem. That's why I when I get my cousins asking me questions and they say, "Hey Ice, how do you feel about me holding out on sex?" I say, "You just gonna be single and horny because holding out." I tell women all the time, I got a 7-day rule, and the main reason why I have the 7-day rule is not for the women that bring something to the table. The 7-day rule is to get all the fake bitches who ain't offering shit but use vagina. It's to get all those bitches out of my face without me doing much work. Because I'm not doing any work if that person it doesn't bring any value to the table. Okay? Like when you hear women make the comment, it seems like all these men just, especially on online dating, so all these men just want some ass. The only women who are saying that are women who don't bring nothing else to the table. Like this bitch on this meme. But you have to clean your own closet, and you have to get your head and your heart right so that you can present yourself as an asset rather than a liability. Because when you go and start talking crazy and being aggressive or being passive aggressive by giving ultimatums or telling men you gotta accept me and my 3 kids or else, when you start talking or you just come off mean and nasty like that, ladies, I'm telling you right now that just turns, even if you find, that turns quality men. Now again, simps and tricks. Simps and tricks will put up with anything. So for you, that's why when people ask me how it is that, especially people in my family asking, how it is that, my ex-wife turned into a fat slob, how did she end up getting a second husband? And the first thing I tell people is, if they seen what this nigga looked like, and if they if they saw what kind of con artist this nigga is, you'd know that the only man that's gonna put up with a old whore like that is a simp or a trick. Ain't no quality man gonna wife up no broad like my ex-wife, and not just because of how she looks. Because they're going to look and see this woman don't bring nothing to the table but use vagina. And trust me, I used it and abused it as much as I could when I still was married to her. So I wanted to make sure when I was through with it, everybody that comes after me knew what I did to it. Number 2. What do you want out of life? Ladies, again, how you present yourself and how you present your life goals is going to either pique a man's interest or it's going to turn him off. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, Ice, who gives a fuck about what these men want? I got a vagina, and all these men wanted some pussy. Well, ladies, I'm telling you, that is the wrong goddamn approach. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you this. That shit only works with simps and tricks. That shit does not work with quality men like myself. A quality man is not going to be interested in a woman who presents herself as a total liability and brings nothing else to the table. So when you talk to this, and here's what you do, ladies. If you talking to him, I don't care where you met him at work, whether you met him on the street, on the subway, or the L, wherever you meet this guy at the if the Starbucks near your job. Here's what you do, sisters. Present yourself as a woman who is managing her life successfully and effortlessly. That makes you look like somebody that could be an asset to a man, a career goal-oriented man like me. And like I said, I'm not trying to gas up my ego here. I'm just being honest with you. See, a simp ain't gonna never ask pertinent questions about what kind of a quality woman are you. All a simp is gonna do is talk about how he could get together with you and try to go up in you. And that's why a lot of you women are so used to telling men all you got to do is, you got to pay for the pussy, and, I expect you to meet me at, Shay's Whitey and pay for this, $100 dinner, or you ain't even gonna get a chance to sniff this pussy. That's why a lot of you women get on that kind of shit, and you meet a couple simps that you can get, your cable bill paid here and there, and you get guys you get simps that are gonna deal with you, but 5 minutes after you deal with this guy, what's gonna happen, ladies? You're gonna get tired of them simps and them tricks, and you're gonna want a quality alpha male like myself. And this is how you get away from dealing with simps, because simps make women, see, a lot of women don't have no game, because now the last 10 years, women don't need no game. And women have figured that out. Oh, we don't need no game. I don't need to have my shit together. I don't need to come at this dude correct. I don't need to have some act right. I can just come at this motherfucker talking shit. You better pay my bill. You better be talking about marrying me, or I ain't gonna never fuck you. How long, ladies, how long you think that's gonna work? How long do you think that that passive aggressive or aggressive shit's gonna work? That shit ain't gonna work too much longer for you, especially the older you get. Over 35, good luck with that shit. So you have to convey to this guy, what do you want out of life? You need to ask him first. Don't volunteer any information. Let him ask, but if he asks you, then you answer. If he doesn't ask you, first of all, if he doesn't ask you, he's a simp. If he just keeps talking about, let's get together. If he keeps talking about let's get together, let me take you to this restaurant, he's a fucking simp or a trick anyway. You shouldn't be fucking with him anyway. He ain't asking you no questions. Come on, man. If he asks you or he tells you, and then he asks you second, hey, where you say you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? Ladies, what you usually do is what? you start giving the guy passive aggressive prompts, which is, I'm not giving up none unless you marry me. Me and my 2 kids are a package deal. What does that sound like to a man? Put yourself in a man's position, ladies. If you were a man and you had somebody telling you that, how would you feel if somebody told you that? You'd feel overwhelmed. And you'd be like, this motherfucker, this person is talking some bullshit. They didn't even let me convey to them what I want. So put yourself in a man's position, and I want you to think about that for a second. How does that, when you hear that, if you play that back in your mind, how does that sound when you conveying that to a man? And put yourself in that man's position. That would make you not want to deal with him, wouldn't it? May not deal with that if they were the man. If they were the woman and you were the man, you'd be like, I don't want to talk to this woman. I don't ever want to see this woman again. And it's coming off like that, telling men, well, don't expect to get no pussy tonight. 9 times out of 10, most men are not expecting no pussy. I don't want to meet at Starbucks. I don't meet at Starbucks. You can't, ladies, you better meet him at Starbucks and you better like it. And let me tell you why. Men, I'm starting to hear complaints and grumblings from women of all races complaining about the Starbucks hustle. He made me meet him at Starbucks, and he made me sit there for an hour, and he ain't offered to buy me a water or a latte or nothing. That's passive aggressive, ladies. Even if you're not conveying that to him, the contorted looks on your face, the fact that you didn't say nothing to him after y'all went y'all separate ways after you met at Starbucks, he looking at you like, I don't want to talk to this woman. If you're expecting something, even meeting at Starbucks, you've missed the point of why you're meeting at Starbucks in the first place. Ladies, men want to talk to you and find out what kind of character you have and what kind of attitude you have. He knows he's not going to find that out on a date. So he's auditioning you to see how you're going to act at Starbucks. And if you go to Starbucks and you're phony, or you get an attitude, don't talk to the guy after you leave Starbucks, then he says, see, I was right. That bitch is a gold digger, and she thought, why does she think she should be expecting something? Why is she expecting something? I dealt with this about 2 or 3 weeks ago when I had a broad that thought she was so fine, this Italian chick from New York that thought she was, I made her sit there for an hour and a half. I didn't offer her nothing. If she really wants to get to know me, then she'll sit there or she'll get up and buy her own coffee. Because a lot of and this chick was broke anyway. She didn't have no medical benefits on her job. And then she was lying about what kind of work she did. And she was just stupid. She was an idiot. She didn't have nothing that I was, and then she had too many tattoos. And you know what I say about too many tattoos. A woman that got too many tattoos is a straight up hoe. That means that person is rebellious and promiscuous. And that's a turn off for me. Again, we're talking about a classy, respectable, career-focused man. Now, again, ladies, if you just want to be lazy and get a simp, then keep dealing with simps and don't even listen to this video. But if you do listen to this video, know that I'm trying to help you get a quality man that's gonna challenge you and support you and build you up and upgrade you. Now, simps don't upgrade women. All simps do is pay for pussy, whether directly or indirectly. Kissing the woman's kids' asses, trying to play daddy to some other man's kids. Simps don't never come in and upgrade women. Because even if they've been with the woman 10 years, you notice that woman still is a broke down hoe with a boyfriend or a husband. Simps and tricks don't upgrade women. They just want to come in and rent the vagina or lease it with an option to buy. So when he asks you, what do you want out of life? Just say, look, I just got a new job. Been there about 8 months. I got my son into a really good school. We're in a really good school district at a good school. He likes where he is. I'm renting a house right now, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just getting back on my feet because I moved, and you don't necessarily have to go into detail about having some difficulties, but you need to convey to this man that, look, this is where I'm at. You don't have to tell him all your business, and that's not meant for you to tell him your business. But say to him, hey, I'm getting back on my feet, and again, I got my son into a really good school district, and where do I want to be in the next 3 to 5 years? Well, I want to be in management. I'm a customer service rep right now. I make decent money, but my money is okay, but it ain't right. I'm trying to get my money right, and I need to get to the next level, and I'm considering going back to school to finish my associate's degree or my bachelor's degree. What you don't want to do is come off sounding like I did a video on this 4 years ago called you don't want to sound like the about to chick. You don't want to sound like the about to bitch. Every time I say something, I'm talking about me, the Iceman. Every time I meet these kinds of women and I say, they ask me what I've been doing the last few years. Well, I'm not going to lie. I'll be like, look, I just finished the Masters in Social Work program. And then here they go with, I'm about to go back to school. Knowing damn good well they ain't about to go back to school and do shit. Okay? When they ask me what I do for a living and I tell them, they say, I was about to start my own business, but, my father, my kid's dad started tripping. And you be sitting there like, bitch, please. So if I say I'm holding my dick right now, you be saying, I was thinking about holding my dick, but I gotta go buy a bag of dicks and screw one on first, just so I can hold my dick too. Come on, bitch. Fuck out of here. Number 3, be honest, but don't be passive aggressive or aggressive. Intimate what you want without being mean and selfish. Always ask a man what he wants. Actually, I already went into number 3 already. But let me just go ahead and amend what I just said a few minutes ago, because there's a couple of things I left off in number 2. But Remember, and at the end, I said, I always ask a man what he wants first. Ladies, even if you don't give a shit about what men think or what this man thinks, it may, at first you might not be into the guy. You might not give a shit. But be genuine and ask the guy, well, hey, what do you want? Because this is why it's important for you to ask this guy what he wants. Because first of all, it makes you look like a non-feminist. A lot of women are starting to get hip to the fact, and I talked about this on the bait and switch video that I did for the paid subscribers back in January. And I got a lot of guys, a lot of the subscribers sending me emails telling me, Ice, you knocked it out the park, man. Another classic Iceman video. And in the bait and switch video, I talk about how women try to act like they ain't, they try to act like they're not feminist. They try to come off as feminine, and you meet them, and then you go over there, you go on a first date and they show their ass. I had a couple of women do me like that up there in Minneapolis, and that shit will never happen again. But a lot of women misrepresent themselves, and again, that shit ain't gonna happen again. Cause I didn't just go out with those women after we met the first time and wherever we were at, and we ended up getting together 2 or 3 weeks later. No, it took a lot of phone conversations and meeting at Starbucks in between. But again, when somebody misrepresents themselves, what can you do? You just make sure it doesn't happen a second time. But ask a man what he wants, because he's looking at you and saying, well, maybe she does care about what I think. Maybe she does. Maybe this woman is somebody I can build something with. Ladies, don't let these white feminists fool you. It ain't about cooking and cleaning and being barefoot and pregnant like the white feminists try to portray the plight of the American woman. Let me explain something to you. I got on my cable here in San Antonio, I got the Vice channel, and it's this little startup kind of. I ain't gonna say they janky, but some of their production quality ain't quite there. But it's a decent. They cover a lot of stuff because they talk about weed and stuff on there. They're a lower scale television channel. But anyway, I was looking at they got some old bullshit series on there with what's the name of that? Got some bullshit. Oh, Gloria Steinem. She's got some crap ass show where they go all around the world, call themselves empowering women. Okay, empowering women. They go into Africa talking that feminist bullshit. They go into parts of Asia and other places around the world trying to spread that synthetic feminist bullshit. It's trying to spread misandry, because that's really all feminism is a bunch of synthetic misandry, dumb shit. Sisters, let me say this and we're gonna move on. I don't want to beat y'all up with about my rants on feminism, but I gotta say something, even if it extends this video longer than I really wanted to go. The reason why a lot of white women hide behind feminism, ladies, is because a lot of white women, and look, this is not a sweeping indictment of all white women, this is not a sweeping indictment, and not all white women are these types of white women. But the main reason why the status quo white female hides behind feminism is because these women don't bring, these white women, these Caucasian females don't bring nothing to the table. They don't cook, they don't clean, they're not there to support a man. They're there to act phony. They're there to act phony, feminine and girly, but that's it. And the man gets duped into paying for that. And so that's one of the reasons why a lot of white females spend so much time on their appearance, putting a gallon of makeup on, putting tight ass clothes on, because they don't want you to see what's behind the curtain. You dig what I'm saying? I talked a lot about this 4 or 5 years ago when I first started the Iceman show. So they really don't want you to look. It was what I call the show. They provide you a show, but they don't want you to peek behind the curtain to look at the production. Because if you do, you're going to find out this woman has no character. She don't bring nothing to the table. All she is a fucking liability, and that's why she's talking this. That's why she's talking this. All these men and wanted sex bullshit. You notice the feminists, they talk a lot of shit about all men are perverts and all men wanted sex. All men act like the simps on that movie Hall Pass. And that's not true. That's not true. Not all men, period, in general, are pussy hounds. And are sitting around like I was looking at some shit on TV, some old feminist, one of these Good Morning America shows, and they were talking about men, it's a scientific fact that men think about sex all the time. That's bullshit. Not no man that's building anything. The only men that walk around would think about sex all the time is Duke Simpson tricks who ain't getting no pussy on the regular. So ladies, don't be fooled by these white feminists talking this shit about, oh, you don't need to know how to cook. You ain't gonna need to know how to clean. All you need to know how to do is just show up, because all they want is some pussy anyway. Sisters, you gotta get off of that. You gotta get away from that mindset. That's gonna fuck you up every time, sisters. Believe that. You need to let this man know that you're an asset, and that even if his life goals don't mess with yours or don't mesh with yours, you're willing to compromise. He said, you say you want to get married. He said he don't. Well, if this guy is exactly the kind of guy you want, then you need to compromise. You tell him, say, look, I'll tell you this. If we end up living together and you end up being my man, because let me tell you something, ladies, a piece of paper ain't gonna keep no man at no house. Okay? It's not. I can tell you from experience. Being married don't make a man want to stay. Not if he really don't want to be there. Trust me, from a man with experience in that category. Marrying a man ain't gonna save shit for you. You still can be left destitute. Can you dig it? So if he doesn't want to get married, then you say, look, I'm down for living together, but I want I want the business of our household to be set up in a way to where I'm not left ass out. If we done been together 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and it looks like we're going to be with each other for life, whether we're married or not, then what guarantees do I have in place if something happens to you and our children are put at risk? Well, then that's when you get together. You say to him, and he says to you, "Well, I'll get life insurance in the kids, so if something happened, the kids are taken care of." Because a lot of women will tell you, say, "I don't need no life insurance. I got my own life insurance. I just want to make sure our kids are taken care of." See, that's a woman that's building something with a man. That means you're an asset. When you come to the table talking about all he wants is some pussy, and you're just there to take shit, get a free strawberry lemonade, get a free meal, get a free mojito. That's why relationships ain't going nowhere with you, because you're presenting yourself as a total liability. Men will take liability, even career-minded like me, if you are and present yourself as an asset. I know I'm going off the yellow brick road, on and off the yellow brick road here, but all this stuff ties together. Number 4, don't just offer to pay for your meal or drinks on the first couple of days. Don't just talk. Don't just. A lot of women will pull what I call the fake, the head fake. What a lot of women will do is they'll say, "Oh, I can pay for my meal and my drinks." Guys, okay, try not to drop sauce for the cat for the players, but this one I'm gonna have to kind of pump my brakes and go off the beaten path here. Guys, let me just say this here. When women do that, when they do the pump fake or the head fake like that, they're not offering to pay for shit. What they're trying to do is bring out the simp in you, or bring out the trick in you, and have you paying for the date. Now, guys, especially my paid subscribers already know, my feelings on how we deal with especially myself, how I deal with women that I possibly feel are not looking at me as a boyfriend. See, I'm in my 50s. I'm tired of pumping and dumping women. But at the same time, I'm not going to stop doing it, because I know a lot of these bitches ain't shit. Not saying all of them ain't shit, but a lot of them, especially in San Antonio. This is a poverty-stricken city. So it's a lot of broke, dusty bitches here, especially Mexican bitches. Matter of fact, white and black bitches are dusty here, including Mexicans. Especially the most dustiest bitches here are the Mexican chicks. They ain't fly at all. Even if they fine, they still ain't fly. And they be getting mad when I don't want to fuck with them. Because I'm not no simp. And I'm not going to trick my money off just because some little baby mama Mexican is interested in me. I ain't hurting to get no ass. These motherfuckers taking them Hennessy bottles straight to the head. Now, these motherfuckers are straight up G's. Let me read the rest of number 4. Oh yeah, I didn't read all of number 4. Take your debit card out, ladies, or you take your money out and you actually pay. Don't just take it out. Pay. Say, "Hey, ma'am, can you give me a separate receipt? Can you cut me a separate check so I can pay for my own?" See, you're taking. You got to understand something. In the beginning stages of what could be turned into a relationship, nobody has any power. Ladies, you don't, just because you have a vagina, you even if you're dealing with a simp or a trick, you have no power. He doesn't have any power. The person that has power or begins to gain control is the man or the woman who cares the least and as time progresses, care even less. Now, I get into this in detail in The Game of Life, according to the Iceman Volume 2. Because a lot of guys was like, "Oh man, you didn't really explain that in Volume 1." And I said that's because Volume 1 is a foundation for Volume 2. So you got to get that joint when I get done with it. Take your credit card or your money out. Don't wait for him to offer to pay. The reason why I say that, ladies and gentlemen, is because you're taking the initiative to tell him, say, "Hey, look, I can pay my own way. I'm not a liability. I'm not a liability. I'm an asset. I can pay my own way." Ladies, a lot of men's dicks get hard when you come at a dude like that. But still be feminine, still be cordial and respectful. Unless he gets disrespectful, then you come out the box on his ass. Don't just sit up there and do the head fake, ladies. Go ahead and pay that money. Go ahead and pay for your half of the day. And let him know that, hey, I want to get with you, but I can still pay my way. You don't have to pay my way. I'm a grown-ass woman. I got my own money. That's the kind of stuff, ladies, that makes a man want to hang around. That's the kind of stuff that makes a man go home and say, I think that's wifey. Yeah, I think that could be wifey. I think that could be my next ex-wife. Right there. Y'all feel me? But show the initiative that you really are independent, but you want to build something with a real player. And convey that. If you get past the first 5 or 6 dates and this is this look like this gonna be your man, let him know. Say, "Hey dude, I want to build something with you." But again, it's how you present yourself as a package. Whether you're by yourself and you have no children or you have children. Ladies, it's how you present yourself. If you present yourself as pussy, then you're going to be a liability. If you present yourself as a supportive, willing participant that's willing to provide value to this man, you're viewed as an asset. Let's hit number 5 so we can wrap this up. Number 5 is offer more than vagina. Offer support, cooking, cleaning up after yourself, family management skills. Basically what that means is you can hold down a household. You can still have your job and you can still have all that going for you, ladies, but you have to be able to hold it down. And there's something I forgot to say in I believe it was number 1 or number 2. I can't remember what it was. Ladies, again, I'm going to reiterate this shit. when you're trying to get to know this man, what you need to convey to him is that you can hold down the family. That's not saying that you're going to be the head of the household and you need to do everything. That's when a man say, baby, hold me down, hold this household down. What he's saying is, he ain't saying I'm about to go to prison for 8 years, hold this shit down. Or I'm about to go overseas and get deployed to Iraq for a year and a half. That's not what he means. He means, are you going to have my back through thick and thin, through good, bad, and ugly? That's what he means. Are you going to go fuck somebody else because I bring in $5 less of my paycheck next week? Because some women do that kind of shit. They get spooked, especially when they're dealing with somebody with a trick, a simp or a trick. Simp or a trick presents himself as a $30,000 millionaire, like he got long ass paper, like his money is long as train smoke. And then after a few weeks, the money, after she done start giving up the pussy, this dude starts showing his ass, and she realizes that this dude's a $30,000 millionaire, and he ain't really got no paper. Now you pissed off because you done fell for the okie doke. He done put the bait and switch on your ass. That's why you don't go for a shiny ass $30,000 millionaire type niggas. Oh, girl, he was driving a BMW. Yeah, but you were drunk that night, and you really didn't take a good look at that BMW. You didn't take a good look at it, that it was actually 8, 9 years old, and he bought it used, and it got a whole lot of mechanical problems, and he only paid $4,500 for it. He didn't buy it new, but it looks new because it's at night. He got tinted windows and he got rims on it. He paid more for the rims and tires than he did for the actual car. And the body is in halfway decent condition, so it damn near looks new. And you done had a couple mojitos and you done drank some at night, that before you went to the club or the bar. You tipsy as a motherfucker. You ain't in your right goddamn mind. Y'all see where I'm going with this? I'm teaching you ladies how not to fall for the $30,000 millionaire. Remember, simps and tricks are only looking for pussy. Quality, career-minded men are looking for ladies with character, dignity, and self-respect. And I know a lot of you sisters are those kinds of sisters, those kinds of women that we black men are looking for. We know you're out there. But it's okay if you're not that woman already. Again, we know you can become that woman. We know that. Can you dig it? Don't present yourself as used vagina, because that's what we'll see you as. You don't want to be that person, that woman that ends up going home and being every time you go out to try to meet some men. First of all, ladies, let me say this: stop going to bars and clubs where ain't nothing but no good niggas. Let me just say that. I didn't write this one down, but I'm gonna add this one to it. To number 5. Don't sit up here and complain about niggas ain't shit, and you keep going to the same hood bars and clubs, or you keep going to the same places where nothing but losers and video villains who play video games all the time, where these type of men hang out. Don't get mad if that's the places that you're going. But you can't just pop up at no high class joint and expect to get put on either if you don't fit in. That's why we have to go back to if you're not where you need to be in number 2, then you need to go back to number 1 and repeat. Wash, rinse, and repeat. This is why you have to get your head and heart together. That's why I made that number 1. And that's why I made that the first couple chapters of my book, The Game of Life, according to the Iceman, Volume 1. Because how can I support chapters? How can you go and read chapters 2 through 12 when you haven't read chapter 1? You're going to be lost. Yes, there's some history, some social history in that book that has nothing to do with chapter 1, but at the same time, I think you know what I mean by that. You don't read chapter 3, you go and you read chapter 1 and 2 first. Because chapter 1 and 2 sets up chapter 3. So ladies, you got to get your head and your heart right and present yourself as an asset rather than a liability. The reason why black women, it has nothing to do with black women being single moms. The reason why y'all can't find no men. The reason why you can't find quality men is because you're presenting yourself as used pieces of ass and you don't bring nothing else to the table. When you come to the table, you start giving ultimatums and using passive aggressive bullshit language, and you have a bad attitude, you seem mean spirited, and you talking about, well, I ain't giving up no pussy till you meet my kid, or you got me and my kids, or a package deal, or I ain't going to your house on the first date, and the man ain't said nothing to you about going to his damn house. If you don't have your own place, that might be a problem for you in dating, especially if you're over 30. A quality man like me is going to look at you and say, wait a minute, you don't have your own place? Well, I'm renting a room. I'm in a cottage. That's what this dumb bitch said to me 3 weeks ago. The only reason I even decided to meet her a second time is because she was a veteran. As soon as I said, well, what did you do? What was your MOS in the Army? Oh, I was a medic. I said, you were a medic and you doing customer service work? And she had only been on the job a year. This woman was 39 years old. So I knew, and then she told me she had some mommy issues too. She was talking about her and her mom weren't close. Talking about her mom wasn't shit as a mom. Didn't do nothing for her while she was growing up. I was like, this bitch ain't somebody I'm really trying to get to know on long term. Why? Because she got a lot of hate issues. Women who hate their mothers are the types of women, first of all, they're broken. And secondly, these are the women who put themselves, they have a grandiose complex. They put themselves on a higher plane and they have this sense of entitlement that they deserve peaches and cream and unicorns and rainbows. And every time there's some inconsistencies with their boyfriend or husband, they're threatening to end the relationship. Just the chick that if your boyfriend come over your house every Wednesday and he's there by 7 p.m., if he doesn't show up till 7:30 one night, you're jumping all over him. Where have you been? You've been with another bitch, haven't you? Okay? This is that chick. She got mommy issues. Okay? She missed a few hugs. This chick missed a few hugs. I could tell she was broken especially the second time I ran into her. She thought she was so fine. She was about a 5.5. She had a nice body. She ran. She didn't have no fat on her, but that's all she had working for. And her face was a little above average, but she wasn't a dime. And again, when you're dealing with a career-minded, successful man, ladies, what did I say? What did I say, ladies? A quality man is gonna be interested in more than just how he can get access to your vagina. He's gonna ask questions about how long you've been on your job. Do you have medical benefits? These aren't just random questions that he's pulling out of his ass. He's asking these questions because he wants to see how much of a liability your ass gonna be. And if you're 39, 40 years old and you've only been on your job a year, you ain't got this bitch up here talking about, she got to go to the VA for medical benefits because she ain't got no medical benefits on her job. When the person has a job and they have no medical benefits, they ain't making no money. This bitch sitting up here making $12 an hour, and then she went to the I'm about to playbook, talking that old bullshit, talking about, I'm gonna go back and get my RN license. Do you know how much training medics get in the Army? Army medics are some of the best. They're some of the best trained medical personnel in the whole military. Matter of fact, they wrote the book on medics. Them in the Navy. You a medic, all that training, and all you end up doing is working all these old dead end jobs. I was like, and yeah, she didn't have no kids, but so what? Talking about I'm real selective and all this. I was like, bitch, please. If you go so goddamn selective, why are you 39, 40 years old and you ain't got no fucking husband? So you can't fool a real player. Okay? You can't fool no real player, ladies. That's why I'm trying to kick some game to you, because a lot of sisters back in the 80s had game. Sisters today don't have no game because their whole mentality is about their whole mentality is about trying to find a simp or a trick, because a simp or a trick he don't want to know anything. He doesn't want to know anything, and he doesn't want to all he wants to find out is when can he get access to that vagina. And women know that. So they say, hey, I ain't got to be on my game. He ain't on his game. But ladies, that shit's going to hurt you going forward. If you're talking about let me pull this up. I'm going to talk about this show in a separate video with my paid subscribers. There's a show called, I don't know if it's some black people that produce this show, but for some reason, almost every case study on this show happens to either have at least one brother, and maybe the woman is a non-black woman, or the last couple of weeks they were black couples that ended up getting together on this show. And the show is called Virtually in Love, and it comes on the Oxygen channel. And it talks about how these people, and basically what the show is about is people meeting people online, and then they end up meeting for the first time on camera. And boy, you talking about, and let me just say this before I end this video. There was this little ugly, little crispity, crackety ass little young black chick. She probably was about 25, 26. She was ugly as fuck. That bitch looked like a cross between Mr. Ed and Yoda. I mean, that bitch was ugly as fuck. And she was from Baton Rouge. And this bitch had the nerve to be wearing, and she didn't want wearing a wig. She had the nerve to be wearing a goddamn wig. And she just looked ridiculous. And she had a 2-year-old kid. She met a dude online, this little tiny little short brother that was from New York. And this brother showed at the end of the show that he had a little game. At first he was coming off seeming like he was kind of moist. But this chick, man, she lived with her mother and grandmother in one house. Remember I told y'all about that shit? And I'm gonna get to why I'm extending this video and I'm talking about this particular case study. But anyway, I DVR'd and I didn't look at it till today, but it's about a week old. And I looked at it and the shit was hilarious. And this chick, she had never been out of the state of Louisiana. They flew him first. They flew him he had just finished his bachelor's degree in IT and he was looking for a job. They flew him from New York to Baton Rouge, and he was an atheist. And he was like, you know, her mama and her grandma. I mean, it was just totally her mama was real disrespectful. She was like, you know, she said, well, what's your religion? And he said, I'm not religious. She said, so you ain't religious? He said, yeah, I'm an atheist. And she just started going off on him, talking about, well, if you ain't a Christian and you don't believe in the Bible, you going to hell. Talking that old slave shit. Yeah. And so this broad, man, she was getting up. She pissed me off. And she was talking mad shit. And she said, she sat up there and said, you know, grandmother was like, you know, okay, you ain't a Christian, okay. She was kind of cool with it. She was kind of passive active, but her mom was real aggressive. And again, this is a broken down. This bitch this bitch had a job working in some old thrift store, some old shit like that, a part-time job. She ain't have shit. And that issue came up later on in the show. Because he said, look, I just got my bachelor's degree, you know, what's going on? She was just talking shit, talking about, you know, so you gonna move, you know, you gonna move down here. He was like, he said, the main reason why I'm staying away from the South is I don't want nobody forcing their religion down my throat. He said, I don't want to be, she was like, well, we Christians and we go to church every Sunday. Yeah, but you had a kid out of wedlock. Now, granted, both of these idiots met online and they talking about they in a relationship for 6 years. How you gonna be in a relationship for 6 years and you ain't met this person? But yet he didn't get on her ass about having a baby during that six year period that they were supposed to be virtually dating. I mean, this chick was butt ugly. She looked like Arsenio Hall as a woman. That's what she looked like. She looked like Arsenio Hall as a woman. Okay? This bitch was ugly as fuck. And then she had no ass. She was all skinny and shit. And so when it got deep is when they flew to New York. And you know, the producers was asking questions, and she said, well, if I'm not going to New York until he meets my demands. He needs to marry me. Okay, now when he flew down to Baton Rouge, she came over and gave up the ass. Okay, she came over to his hotel. She didn't stay the night, but she came over there and gave up the ass. They both made that clear. And so, fast forward, she flies to New York, and he introduces her to his friends. And his friends happen to be two very attractive black females that lived not too far from him. And one he had fucked, and the other one he had, she was just a friend. Both of them were cute as hell. And she was all insecure, and and one of them straight up told her, because she had a real grimace look on her face. She was like, well, we fooled around a few times. Yeah. What she said, well, so are y'all friends or what? She said, no, we were never in a relationship, but yeah, we fooled around. She made that clear. And she said, well, have you messed with him too? She said, no, I ain't had sex with him, but I know who have. Okay? She got all upset and shit, and so the friends got up and left. And so she was trying to check him talking shit, and then she got up crying. You know how ugly motherfuckers cry? She cried ugly than a motherfucker. And so she went and he went back to his hotel. He was like, he had this man, he had this look on his face like, I don't really give a fuck. I could tell he didn't give a fuck. He can't tell me he gave a fuck. And so what he did is he got up the next day and said he texted her, because this is what I usually do. When I know I ain't going to see a chick again, a lot of times I get up the next day and maybe halfway through the day I'll text them and say, hi, or I'll send an emoji. And if I don't get a response, I start laughing immediately, because I know this chick's got her mouth stuck out and she pissed off because the Iceman didn't meet her demands. Oh, I know what, I left something out. You know what this ugly ass bitch said to him? This horse head bitch. No, she said before they got together to eat that day, to meet his friends, she said to him, first of all, when he met her daughter, she started boo-hooing and crying and shit, and acting like a total brat because she around nothing but women all the time and ain't around her daddy. He straight up said when the producers interviewed him, he said, what did he say? He said, I don't know if I want to be mixed up in this. I don't know. I don't want to be a father. I don't want to be a father right now. I don't want to come into a ready-made family. He made that clear. And so this bitch go say to him, what'd she say to him? She said, well, because he straight up said to her, he said, I'm not moving to Louisiana. He straight up told her when he was in Louisiana. He said, there ain't no chance of me moving here. And she just looked all disappointed. What was she going to do? What was she going to say? Huh? She ain't got no leverage. Anyway, she had already gave up the ass. Anyway, she goes and says, this is what ties into this video. She has the nerve, when she got to New York and they were getting ready to go eat, she had the nerve to say to him, well, she didn't ask it. She just said, we need to be married. Now, if she couldn't demand that her baby daddy marry her, how's she gonna make demands on a guy she just met, who ain't even the father of her raggedy ass little crumb snatcher that she had? If she couldn't make him buck up and take care of his daughter, what makes you think he gonna take care? This man gonna come out of nowhere and take care of some other man's kid? That shit had me laughing. That shit had me laughing. He just looked at her like, bitch, please. He had that bitch please look on his face. He didn't even answer. She was like, well, we need to be married. She didn't ask him, like, how would you feel about us? I really feel like we should get married. because I don't want to be. I just feel like I have to have some more of a better guarantee that I'm moving up here by myself. I don't know nobody, which is a very legitimate concern. But it's again, ladies, it's how she presented it. It's how she presented that situation to this guy that turned him the fuck off. And he said, I'm not getting married. He said, I don't want to get married. I don't want to marry you. But she pushed him to give her the complete truth. She pushed him to do that. Now, if she had presented herself as an asset, she wouldn't have had that problem, ladies. But she presented herself as a liability. Not just, I'm not just talking about her child as a liability. She presented herself as a liability. She had already, because he told her, he said, well, do you plan on going to school or anything like this? Like, well, I don't know anybody. I'm getting free daycare from my mom and my grandmother. See, that old ghetto welfare mom fucking mentality. This woman ain't gonna come up to America, come up to New York and do anything. That's why she want to stay in the South. That's why she want to stay in the South. Y'all, give me a minute. I'm dealing with my little puppy here. She's growling at me. Anyway, she pushed him and pressed him and gave him a full court press and ended up she ended up not getting the desired outcome that she was trying to get, because she presented herself as a liability with another liability, with a kid. And that's when guys ask me, the Iceman, why it is that I meet women one day and then I don't talk about them, 2 or 3 videos later, you don't hear me talking about the chick no more. That's because she's presented herself as a liability and I cut my losses. Remember, I give women a week. I give all women a week to give up the ass. And the ones who end up being quality go beyond a week. Or the ones that's giving up, and they ain't shit and they giving up the ass, they go beyond a week. It's either one or the other. You're either going to be quality or you're going to be a hoe. But if you a hoe and you ain't giving up nothing and you a liability, then you're not going to get past 7 days. Matter of fact, you won't get past 2 or 3 days, the first 2 or 3 days. Because I'm going to end up weeding that person out, because I'm not going to, y'all know I don't chase women. So you know that this woman is got to, be the chaser. I'm be the chasee. Remember, I cut the bullshit. Anyway, we're going to wrap this video up. I didn't mean for this video to go on an hour and 30 minutes, but I just had to say everything I needed to say, ladies. Like I said, sister, this is the tip for the single moms, the dating tips. I hope you listen to these dating tips and take these dating tips to heart and help you become the woman that you need to be, so that you can get the man that you really need and deserve. Remember, ladies, you have to present yourself as an asset, not a liability. You tune into the Iceman Show, the Iceman Unchained. It's your Uncle Willie hollering at you. Go by AskTheIceman.com for information on the Iceman Show, the Iceman Unchained. Also, if you want to subscribe to my weekly podcast, go to AskTheIceman.com. And if you want to get the game of life, according to the Iceman Volume 1, my new book, you got to go to Amazon.com. You can order it in ebook form, tablet form, or paperback form. And if you want an autographed copy, paperback copy of my new book, Remember, you can go to AskTheIceman.com and prepay, and I will send you your autographed copy of The Game of Life According to the Iceman, Volume 1. Holla at your boy.